Hey, and it is magic. It is magic. We love it. We love the magic here. Talk show on the go. I am so glad to be here with my friends. As you all know, triple Grammy winner Andre Merritt, along with the one and only Finesse Mitchell. I've been talking about Finesse for a while. Thank you so much, Finesse, for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sunda. Thank you for inviting me.
You see how polite he is? He's got that. And you know what I think is so funny is that I called Finesse at the last minute because I told Andre this is a comic, but he sings. And Finesse said, I don't sing.
No.
He said, I don't sing, but he just shared a story with us about the Osmonds, Donnie Osmond. Share with everybody what happened on the show.
Well, you were saying Dre, coming from that music field, said everybody can sing. And when you're around music as much as he is, he knows there's some maybe things you can do or tweak that you're not doing because you can't necessarily hear it. He probably is an expert at making good singers better. So I said, you know what? This is the second time I've heard this week because Donnie Osmond said that to this show. I'm not supposed to talk about it, but he was basically giving people singing lessons. And he said everybody can sing. If you start with this note and then you hit that note, and then he made everybody hit that same note, and then he was just showing you how to go up or down. But you didn't lose, but you were still in that pocket. And why I feel like people can't sing is because they don't hear themselves going all over there.
Absolutely. That's how it happens.
Because they too busy. Their eyes closed and they think they jamming, but they going way over there. And that's me.
He said,
that's me.
And what song did you sing for the lip sync?
I was a judge.
Oh.
So yeah, I think I am allowed to say this. Dr. Ken, Ken
right,
John,
our friend.
Our friend. He has a new spinoff show, and it's called I Can See Your Voice, and it's on Fox, and it'll be dropping soon. So
we have to support it. And you have to support Ken Jeong, and you have to support just stand-up comedy in general. Something's going on now. I don't know if you're aware, but they're moving out of state. Out of state.
I heard that. Yeah.
Rogan's in Texas. Diaz back in Jersey. What do you think?
Who just went to Jersey?
Joey Diaz.
Oh, he did. I think COVID made a lot of people realize that life isn't. You weren't having as much fun where you thought you were having fun.
Right.
When you had to do it in solidarity in your home for 200 days straight. I felt like there were people who woke up one day and said, "Why the fuck do I live out here? Why am I living out here? I don't have to live out here no more." I think every time your mortgage payment on your rent payment, and you think about your people back east or down south or anywhere in Texas, and you're like, why am I paying triple?
For what?
For what?
Yep. For the homeless to come and open the door for you?
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people had a revelation, and some people who had the means. Joe Rogan has many means now.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I think he can live anywhere in the world, and once he realized the industry comes, I think everybody. So this is how I measure success in show business in Hollywood. When you want to get Harrison Ford in your movie, you got to go out to his ranch, and then they go. So when you're at that point in your career, where you might have a crib here in LA, but you live in Utah or you live in Texas or and people come to your house to pitch you, that's when you realize, oh, the industry comes to me.
Right.
And then the job is wherever I have to go. 99% of the jobs ain't here in LA.
They're not.
Once they get greenlit. So I feel like, and that's just one of those parameters when you're talking about ultra rich and famous. You know what I mean? We got a lot of those. We got the Denzels. We got the Will Smiths. We got the, it's like Jamie Foxx doesn't have to live in LA.
No, he doesn't.
They will Zoom call the meeting or they will fly there just to hang out with him.
Yes, but they don't have to move.
Yeah, they ain't got to move. And so, I'm one of those dudes that I tried it that way. I was living in Miami for a long time after Saturday Night Live. Left the show in 2007. Didn't feel like coming back out to LA because I felt like I did that grind so long of just trying to get something.
Yes.
That when I got it, it was the first time I was just trying to relax and just But then after you relax and you realize you got to stay on that bike because everybody around you is a monster.
Still moving, yeah.
They like, yo, you know, suit up, rookie, and you like, oh shit, you better start running. And Saturday Night Live is like this, you know, everybody on the cast don't explode, so it's show and it's business, all at the same time, in a high school environment. Because at the end of the day, you do look back and say, damn, I'm blessed. Woo.
Right.
But the flip side to our industry is, how do I keep up? How do I get from here to here? What's my next move? Because then if you make a misstep or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're not eating.
That's right. You'll notice it then when you're hungry.
Yeah, when you're hungry, that stomach growls.
Now, Andre, what do you feel about like the music world? Is it the same like comedy?
I think, yeah, all industries are feeling it. Music, sports, comedy, fashion, everything's changed. Like, cause you know what it is. I think COVID, it's pulled the rug out from under everybody. Like, everybody didn't even thought that they were secure. Like, you thought your marriage was secure. It's not. You thought your job was secure. It's not. You thought everything. It was like, it's like, you know what COVID did? It made everybody balance. It was like, because before it was so much checks and balances. You'd be like, well, yeah, that's cool, but that's not my problem because I'm rich. And that's cool because that's not my problem because I'm not racist. No, COVID said, let me drop all you. Yeah. Oh, you said you sick too? You put them in there. This is what you and you're what you don't like. Yeah, you too. And then it's like lock them in. And it's like everybody is getting. It's like, you know what I told everybody, because somebody was saying, this lady, we were at the bank and she was just like, gosh, just tired waiting. I said, there's nowhere to go. I said, you're here with us. Have you noticed it, bitch? Shit. I'm like, she said, like, everybody in here, we all standing here. I'm like, this bitch the only one hot.
Right.
Yeah. You're the only one. The sun's only hitting you. Like, it's like, come on. Everybody want to get the fuck out this bank and go home and do whatever they got to do. But it's like everybody feels like we got to automatically put up. I don't have to put up your stuff. That's what COVID's about. No more putting up with people's stuff.
No more. We don't have to.
Do your own thing, whatever that may be. I don't know. You might, whatever it is.
And that's why Joe Rogan said, I'm going to Texas.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm going to Texas.
Yeah. I feel like everybody's doing that. I think everybody's heading for the hill. Everybody's, you know what it is? Everybody's heading for the hills. They're like, they're getting their stuff. They're like, you know what? I'm not paying this mortgage for $6,000 anymore. Like, I'm going to go get me something for like $2,000. And it's like
more square footage, more views.
Yeah. And then you get the, before, remember, because you used to be like, well, I want to stay in city because all my friends here. Now you don't have any friends. So you can leave them here and go and enjoy your beautiful house.
Now, Sunda, watch me button all this up. And if you are who you thought you were as a friend, the other friends still come to you.
Absolutely.
See what I did there? You don't remember the whole Harrison Ford, the industry will come to you? If you leave L.A. or you leave Chicago and you were a good friend, oh, your friend's going to come and see you in Atlanta. They've been dying to get, they needed a reason to go to Atlanta. You the reason.
Yeah.
So,
are you thinking about going back to Atlanta?
You know, my mom is there. She had a COVID scare, but, you know, they told her at the time it was pneumonia because she was feeling bad early in the process and nobody knew what it was. Thank God she was fine. And it's hard now because now she's at that age where
you got to pay attention.
You got to pay attention. And my brother is there with her doing his part. And it was great because they both had the attitude like, stay in L.A. We got this. Do your thing. You know what I mean? So it was great to have that support. But now it's like, oh, I got to see my damn mama.
Yeah.
I'm a mama's boy.
Well, yeah, yes.
I got to get
Mothers
there.
love boys love their mothers.
She used to say, we gon' like my first shows in Atlanta, just as an open micer, your mama don't know that you suck.
No.
You know what I mean? She got to actually go in person. Even when she hear you saying you doing comedy, she got to go see it for herself just to be like, anybody could be saying they doing that. I don't know. I need proof. So that's how my mama was. She said, I want to see you on the stage. So when the dude first introduced me and I'm walking to the stage, she said, this motherfucker really going up there. Like, she was just like, he is doing this for real. And then next thing I know, I'm making sure they are laughing. And then my mama turned into like a typical mama on a little league football team. Don't break no tackle, and you start running down the sideline. Oh, that's him. that is him. That's my, he's mine. That's my baby, my youngest.
My youngest.
I thought that was funny too. I said, Mama, stop talking to the people. Just, you know what I mean? She was trying to help them laugh. You know what I mean? She got so excited. And after that show, I never forget something she said. We're gonna laugh our way right into Alexis. And I knew exactly what she meant. Because we was driving the Pontiac at the time. So you know how people qualify wealth and success. She didn't say you gonna make it, you gonna be Denzel, she said, we gonna get Alexis.
And you said, yes, we will.
I said, yes, the hell we are. Yes, we are.
You know, it's wonderful that you are from Atlanta, because I know I know you guys never see me do a lot of black shows, but I started at the Chitlin Circuit in New York. And I have to tell you, my best audiences are black audiences. I'm just never asked to do the shows, but when I do them, I kill, because there's nothing, when people talk about Jewish guilt, nothing is worse than the guilt of a Southern mother. Nothing. Well, you going outside, my head may be cold when you get back. I know you ain't studying me, child, but you go right ahead. Yeah, well, when my head is cold. I mean, like, they just have a way, and my grandmother would get me without putting her hand on me. Now, my mother, on the other hand, would get the switch. My grandmother would threaten to switch. For white Americans, a switch is a weapon. It's supposed to be nature, but it's
it ain't nature. It is nature until you using it to hit somebody with it.
And how do you feel about that with your kids? You can't do that, right?
No, I can go deep on you. You want me to go deep?
Yeah.
Go deep.
Okay. I have girls. My girls love me.
I know it.
So I know for a fact that if I physically pop them, spank them at a certain age where they're like, did you just hit me? And that could be 5, 6. It don't have to be like you hitting a 13-year-old.
Right.
No, young. The first time you hit them for discipline, she's going to cry. She don't even know that me. She's never, why did you just hit me?
Right.
I know when I did something wrong, but why did you just hit me?
Put your hands on me.
Now she's crying. Now I gotta say what I have to say to make her stop crying after a while, and explain the lesson, but then tell her I love her, and tell her that, when daddy hits you, he's only just trying to make sure you understand that you can't do this or that. But I love you. And you know what she's gonna say? I love you too, daddy. I'll try. I don't want to do that anymore, because I don't want to get hit. If you bring your daughter up like that as a father, when she turns 18, 19, 20 years old, if she meets an abusive man, as long as he says, I didn't want to do that.
Yep.
I love you. I didn't mean to do that, but you made me do it. She will never leave that dude, because you as a father taught her it was okay to forgive just like that.
For years.
And now you're in an abusive relationship.
He's right. That's freaking deep.
That's deep, man.
For years. For years, though, because she's growing up. So you can't even go back and look. It's been 8. You don't even know how much damage you've done.
Yeah.
Because it's harmless.
And she's not even making it a big deal.
No, because it's harmless.
So now you're getting used to it.
Exactly. Like you said, and you're getting used to it. Get the switch. And it's more, and it goes both ways. Single mamas with they trying to raise boys, black boys with no daddy. You gotta provoke some sort of fear in them, where they're like, do I fear her enough to stay home? Because she's tried everything else.
Right.
She asked you, she begged you, she bribed you. I'll pay for so-and-so if you just don't run with them boys.
Right.
It's just something about those boys. Mama, they my friends. How you gonna, you know what I mean? Now he lying to go out the house just to hang with the same dudes. And if something go wrong, she'll blame herself if she wasn't whipping him with a switch. Cause I didn't try to. I should have tried harder. You ever heard Mama say I should have tried harder? So you got me deep on this show.
No,
now.
you know why it's deep. You know why it's
deep. Look at your producer. He is looking at me like wiping his freaking eyes.
No, you know why? He knows my daughters, and they love their father, of course. But I'm an animal, supposedly. But, it's so funny, because I was talking to Andre, and I said, because somebody said to me, oh, you should hit him in the head. You should be slapping him. And I said, they're talking to me. And Andre said, they're explaining themselves. They're smart kids. I mean, tell them what you were telling me.
Well, yeah, that's what I believe now. Like, a lot of the ways, I love this saying that I saw where it says, the things that got you here won't be the things you need to go further. And so when I look at that, I'm like, there's so many different types of kids that are, and they're really smart. And so I feel like a lot of parents kind of miss it, or they get embarrassed when they realize that their kid is kind of smarter than them. And not because you're dumb, but it's because they have more access and they're doing more. So parents, it's like they try to use the discipline to to cover the lack of knowledge. And it's like, but the kids know. They're like, no, you're just doing that because you don't know what you're talking about.
They will say that now.
They will. They know. They know now. And so you really have to you got to be honest with them. Like, they understand. They know how to. If you say something, a kid can look on Google and know if you're telling the truth about it or not.
And what I love about Andre is he has this Peter Pan thing going on. So we're working with a show called Teen Time. Okay. And what I love about Teen Time is that these kids get to express themselves. We had a young lady on here who was talking about when she first met us, my daughter and I, that she was living in a car for her first 3 years in high school. You see the things we don't know?
Right.
That's why when they don't have school, some kids have no food.
Right.
Like,
I've never heard. I have never heard of that until actually COVID, and just for the first time, it being said on the news, like, this is the only time they eat twice a day. Yeah. And I'm like, why is that? Don't they get hungry at home? And then it hit me. Oh, some of them don't have no food at home. Like, literally
no food.
Yeah.
Some of them. I didn't know until I said that out loud, and one of my boys, you heard me, and he said something like, yeah, but didn't you always have kids that come up to you and say, you gonna eat that? And he said, yeah. Did you know some of them weren't even eating it? They was just putting that shit in a Ziploc bag?
I'm taking it.
I was like, oh, man, I ain't pay attention to shit in 8th grade.
I did not.
But now as you get an adult, you realize, oh, kids are the biggest hustlers in the world.
Oh, God, they can hustle you. H-U-S-T-L-E.
Don't take this wrong, but if you let kids run the dope game, they will have that shit so connected through goddamn internet and goddamn meetings and channels that you don't even know exist, that if the cartels really want to make money, find an 8-year-old, find a 9-year-old, and let him get his friends together and connect this whole goddamn country on drop-offs and pickups and getting the money back over the board. They just geniuses. And so my second daughter, she's 2. Give her the phone. The 5-year-old showed her how to do. Here's the code. The 2-year-old can't even count, but the 2-year-old knows the numbers, the squares to hit to get into my phone. And I know she can't count because I'd be like, "What's this?" She'd be like 9. So I know she can't. I know it's not. She knows her numbers already. So. Just the fact that I watch her scroll and find the apps that she wants at 2, and I thought it was an amazing. I said, man, my baby was 4. My oldest baby was 4. I was like, baby, she really know that phone. The new baby knows that too. So I'm just like, this what the new generation has exposure to, in addition to the majority of them do not hate Sunda. They do not hate each other. If you ever go online and see parties now, like it's so diverse now. And the people that are like in junior high or whatever, and you hear these racist slurs or whatever, they learn that at home. Like, they learned it at home.
Children learn what they live.
But this generation, what is it now called? Z? This generation Z, who took to the streets during Black Lives Matter, like, it's all of us. That's how you can tell it's a different set of teens coming up. Because we saw it the first time in Florida when they had that mass shooting. And all these teenagers, all these kids in high school was like, oh, we going to get these gun laws changed. Oh, yeah. And they organized. And now they eligible to vote now, and so they got their whole little movement. But now there's a new generation, Sunda, Andre, of Black Lives Matter who just, they believe in the slogan, even if they don't understand all of it or what it might mean on paper or whatever. They just know what they hear makes sense to them, and their friends are black. Or their friends are Latino, or their friends are white, and they all doing the same dances on TikTok. You see it. They're friends.
I'm over it.
So now they're out in the street, all diverse and all young, and then us old school, we jump in like, oh, yeah, this shit is wrong. But they're going to change this country, and I really believe in that. And so with each generation, they get more and more fearless of, we got to look out for one another. We got to make sure that generation takes over the country instead of the capitalist generation that's like, you're raised in this family to have, and this is what we've acquired so far. It'll be yours if you don't fuck up. Don't marry outside of your race. Don't bring somebody home that we don't approve of. All this will be yours. Don't fuck this up. And they have something to pass down. First of all, And then those people say, how do we keep everything that my family has gained and everything that how do we keep that without all those people making me feel normal, making me feel average, making me feel not VIP? That's America. It's economics first. We discriminate when it comes to economics, and when it comes to classism is when it comes to what are you worth, right? And then those people underneath that line, they're the masses. But what we don't understand, what is it an equal number? Because we should be more than them. It's a lot of them.
It's a lot of them.
It's a lot of them. So they're able to stay empowered because they have the money and the resources keep spreading around to groups and people who think just like them. We will give a PPP loan to Ruth Chris Steakhouse for $40 million.
Before LASC.
But an individual person that's not a corporation will cut your benefits and send you a $400 check this week instead. They are arguing whether they want to send us $400.
Believe that.
When they came up with $3 trillion in a vote.
And gone.
And it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. And they want to know if we should do it again. You gave it all away to the capitalists.
All of them.
All of it. So the same people who needed the help that's dying first, we still need the help.
And guess what? If they release it again, guess who's gonna get it again?
Same people.
Same people. Because there's no way to get it down there. It's like there's no one mandating it. Because once they approve, I have one of the loans too. Once they approve it, is it. They don't check. They're not gonna follow you. They already know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
So they're not gonna be like, you owe us money. The government, they like, you live here. Baby,
we're waiting
for you.
Yeah.
Holla at us when you're ready.
You see on the news a lot of people going to jail for buying a Lamborghini and buying
I seen that dude. Yeah, I'm like, you think they not watching you?
They watching you. They know who they gave the money. They
know. I keep telling them that. If they don't care about nothing else. I'll say, if you don't think they don't care about nothing else in this country except about how that currency is moving. You can do anything. You can go kill somebody. You can mess with a kid.
I was just about to say that.
But you mess with the currency of this country, and they will murder you.
Yep.
Everything would get bad. It would get bad. It would they would
All
be like
facts.
really fast, and everybody knows this. Like, you want to know? Everybody talking about gangsters and the best and the most biggest, most toughest gangsters I've ever met is the U.S. government.
Oh yeah, the biggest.
Period. Government is no joke.
Nobody
beats them. You can't beat you low. Nah.
Can't beat City Hall.
Nah.
And they're all watching.
They don't. That's why they don't worry.
When money is involved.
Of course.
With this police brutality, all of a sudden,
nobody's watching.
They were flicking channels at the time. They saw a progressive commercial come on TV.
They probably just
Flow
water
distracted
on their
them.
TV. Just
I mean, let me
but
tell
they
you.
didn't see that part of the story.
I heard the craziest thing, and I don't know if it's true, so I don't know if I should just bag it. But Anthony was telling me that, unfortunately, rest in peace, George Floyd had banged that guy's wife. And I said, what do you mean? He was like, Sunda, you think something like that is going to happen just like that? He said, okay, Google it if you don't believe me. And I didn't Google it.
They did know each other.
That theory makes sense.
That theory,
I'll take that theory. At this point, the fact that you would murder somebody in broad daylight and hide behind the badge and just make things worse, because there are a lot of good cops out there, but the good cops that's complicit and not saying anything against the bad cops makes them technically bad cops too, even though they're good people.
That's sad.
Right?
And at the same time, if there's more, you have good cops, but if you still have more bad than good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just like putting muddy water in clean water. It's still gonna get dirty.
Right. I tell people all the time that when you know people who go and tell you they're a cop now, and you like, did they check? Did they what?
I'm a cop.
Wait, slow down. Where you get that gun? You know what I mean? Like, you don't believe shit. This cannot be real. Tell me you filled out an application and they just at least Googled you. This crazy as hell.
I'm a cop, man.
And so when the people you know get a badge and a gun, you're like, yo, I know this person. So I believe this type of shadiness, or this person will go in there and probably do whatever he could do to change the whole culture. He's going to get burned out. But he's a good dude. And then 5 years later, you look at them, they just so burned out. They're like, man, I'm just trying. They do the same thing everybody does. We underpaid. They don't realize what we go through when we go in these neighborhoods and blah, 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 blah. So
you took the job you knew.
No, but at
they
the end of the day, if you abuse your power in the grossest way, which means that I have a gun, therefore I order you to do this, or I will kill you. Like I will kill you. It will get to a point. Sometimes de-escalation is so important, and it's not being trained. And if it is being trained, then really the white supremacy that is on the police force all over the country have really taken over.
It's risen.
The police it is such a culture that if you get rid of one, that's half the union. You know, so you can't get rid of them. That's why they stay on there and they protect each other.
Yeah.
But for people who don't want to realize that is real, like if you ever went to a Goodwill, have you ever seen a KKK hoodie and because somebody said we don't need this no more, we don't think that way no more. Even if you don't think that way no more, you kept it. That's in your attic because we ain't never seen them in circulation. And how long have they existed?
You are so right.
So these robes are real. But guess what? They also need jobs. Where do you feel most empowered even though you can't make the most money because you're not that smart? You didn't go that far in school, but you still need to feed your family. Where do I have power? Oh, I'll do what my granddad did and what his dad did. We'll be on the police force.
Yep.
Just like your kids who played pro ball are now the number one blue chip college prospect. Your kid, if you play pro ball, there's probably a 60% chance he got a good shot at playing pro ball if you spend some time with him.
If you spend some time with him, right?
Time with him. So when these people are on these police forces and we show video after video of, look, man, this girl was on her porch. The police came on her porch and said, you're talking too loud. Turn around. You just walked on my property. What are you talking about? I told you to shut up. You kept talking. You kept shouting out shit. Turn around. So now one cop is on a porch trying to arrest one black girl surrounded by her family with cell phones. And he is scared out of his mind. He is like, what the fuck did I just do? Because now I'm that guy.
I'm that guy.
Do I just all of a sudden back up, or do I say, hey, man, I think I'm doing the right thing. Let me double down. And now you're rolling on the floor with a damn girl in her yard because you said she was talking too loud. You had the right to go up in her yard and arrest her. You have the right to tell her how loud she can talk when there was no formal complaint. Nobody called them. He just walked up. He in the neighborhood. They probably yelled some shit. Get the fuck away from here. We don't want y'all. We fed up with y'all bullshit.
Get out.
Okay, let's just play devil's advocate.
Right.
Maybe she antagonized him. Maybe she agitated a situation that didn't have to be a situation. But the fact that he was like, you're going to jail for that? He tased her.
I'll show you.
Now, the reason I bring that up, because y'all know how many Karens we see on the internet talking shit and loud in these stores, in these white stores with white people, with white management. Even with black management, with Hispanic management, the Belfco, all these damn stores, Targets, and they say what they want to say, and they never get arrested. They might get punched in the face.
But they ain't going to be arrested.
But no cop is. So you mean to tell me now I see a case of a guy walking into somebody else's yard and arresting him for talking too loud? I feel like it's that type of mentality on the police force where even if you don't know you bad, you got something against black people. When you see
have
that.
something.
You have something against black people. And if that culture is in your police force where you feel like, I can just drive on off and continue to enjoy the rest of my day.
Right.
Crazy lady talking shit.
Get some donuts.
Let me go get some donuts. No, I want to start a physical confrontation with a female.
Of color.
Of color.
Because you know how they are. Mad black women.
So now the culture on the force is real. And if we're talking about George Floyd and come on, that was sinister.
Sinister. Did you see his face? Did you see the cop's face looking into the camera like I'm doing it?
What Andre said, it looked personal. It did look personal.
I can believe this theory.
It looked personal.
It did.
They worked at the same nightclub together, a nightclub. They was both bouncers.
And he got hurt.
He knew that.
He knew him.
If I know you and I do that to you, I just murdered you. Because I know you. Because it wasn't we were scared. You were subdued. Your hands were behind your back. Clearly you was under control. I just murdered you. you did something to me. This is more than just you black. I already humiliated you. I already arrested you. All I got to do is put you in the car.
I'm going to go further. Well, let's see if that movie is true that he put her in a porn movie. Because I want to tell you something. They have the ugliest picture. Yes.
Where'd that come from?
You need to Google this
What
because
I ain't never heard.
yes, I heard that the guy's wife was in a porn movie. Okay.
I don't think George Floyd's put her in it.
No, not George Floyd.
I heard that the guy and George Floyd were both security at some club.
Right, that's what I heard.
And but I don't know if they.
That's as far as I know.
I just heard this yesterday. This was my first time.
But they did say this. They said that people loved George and thought he was an asshole at this club. He was Big George at this club, and everybody loved him, but he was a bouncer. But he worked for the white guy at this club. And the white guy was known for being a prick and a dick. And there has to be some personal connection.
There's a story.
The dude is too big for you not to recognize him if you've ever seen that man before. So clearly I know I worked with you at this club and I see you again. Why you kill that man? Why did you murder that man?
And start all this mess.
Start all this mess.
All this mess.
But you know what?
I think it's bigger than that.
Listen, what do you think?
Uh-oh.
Nobody does that. It's too. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. You know, I really love my grandmother. You know why? Because my grandma said, if it don't seem right, something ain't right, baby.
If it don't seem right, it ain't right.
It ain't right. And I just said it's just too much attention for one man, for one incident, for one club, for all that.
All that.
For this, no. He's not important enough. What did he do besides that club to get to that moment with him? Y'all are too insignificant. Both of them, the whole fucking club.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it.
Everybody involved.
Because of look at what's happened to the whole, like, if that's what come on. Really? No, it's something else.
There is, well, maybe there's something to the story.
It's too much going on in the world for that to have escalated into that if it wasn't something personal.
It was personal.
And we'll never know the back story, but there is a back story.
Back story, yeah. That's why I'm saying.
Besides that they know each other at the club.
It's going to come out.
It's going to come out.
It's going to come out. It's getting there. It's getting close. It's getting close.
Did anybody Google that yet? No? You did? Was it true?
He's actually a porn star.
Oh, well, I can see that.
The cop is the porn star?
No, the George Floyd, right? Yeah, George Floyd.
I ain't seen Floyd in no, never mind.
Well, wait a minute, but can I tell you something?
I've never watched
I will tell you this. They showed the ugliest picture of this man all the time, and I see another picture, and I was like, that's a handsome brother. I was like, look at the body on him.
Yeah, you get media. There's another side of media that also. Now, remember we was talking about white supremacy. It goes all the way up.
Of course.
It goes all the way up. So, of course, it's in media. But they always have to portray,
Us looking bad, crazy.
Just to help the story. Just to help the
the
narrative.
story.
This is a bad person. Let us find a sinister picture. You'd be like, this is a murderer. This guy is a murderer. And then he's at Disney World with his son, just like, hey, you like, that's the best. What are you talking about? At Disney World.
Right.
He's a good dad.
That's a great dad.
It's marketing.
You got to show a picture. You got to go on AIG and find something where you can freeze frame a video of a dude just like he was probably saying happy birthday, but they freeze framed it with you looking crazy, and then they plaster that all over the media.
You were born in Georgia, right?
Yeah. I was born in Atlanta.
It's so different when you are from this. I just want to say this, having spent time in the South with my relatives, but it's so different, the racism, because it's overt. They're clear about it.
Yeah.
And it's understood. I appreciate it more.
Sunda, can I tell you, I love that.
I
love
do
that about
too.
Georgia. What I love most about Georgia is that Atlanta is not Georgia.
No.
Right? Atlanta is Atlanta. We all love the Falcons, the Braves. We hate the Saints. It's like everybody agrees with certain things. We go to the varsity for the hot dogs and stuff. We wish Chick-fil-A was open on Sunday. We still pull up at the drive-thru every Sunday and say the same damn thing. Damn, that's right. And they've been closed for 30 years on Sunday. But that's Atlanta. And when I tell you, it's just when you do meet a racist, you're like, ooh, thank God that,
He let me know.
Yeah. And you can't and what I also like about Atlanta and Georgia, you can't judge a book by its cover because a lot of black people will tell you we feel like races got a certain uniform. You know what I mean? They got a certain T-shirt, certain jeans, certain hat.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, we see it.
We see it, and we be like, oh, okay, stay away from them. And I'm like, hey, partner, I can't believe that Deion Sanders grew back his hair overnight. How'd he do that? And you like, you know what, bro? He was bald. I remember that. Now Deion got a full head of hair. And before you know it, you talking to somebody where you like, you know what, dog? I thought you was a racist. You wouldn't say that, but you was
right.
Like, this
yeah.
dude cool. He just out of the blue hit me up in the lane of the grocery aisle, cereal aisle, but made small talk. And that's what I like about Georgia, because the ones that aren't like that, as soon as they open up their mouth, you're like, oh, you want him. Okay.
Oh, please.
Okay. So, but I think it would be naive for me to say we outnumber them. But the reason I say Atlanta is so special is because inside of Atlanta, I think we outnumber them. And they know that. That's why everybody moves to Atlanta, not only for the property and for things being affordable, even though everybody's houses are going up
I was going
to
to say, it's not cheap.
$700,000 now.
Yeah, it's not so cheap
Our
anymore.
same $150,000, $200,000 houses now are being sold for $600,000.
Easily.
It's going that way everywhere.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Come on, it's Georgia.
Georgia's
Yeah,
Georgia.
but that weather.
I live in New York, so I could deal with the
New York
humidity.
got to be tough sometimes.
Georgia.
I've always looked at New York as a kid and looked at the streets and where you played ground, and I was just like, where's the grass? Like every time I would see an old school New York video, I'd be like, where the fuck is the grass?
Upstate.
I could never go.
Upstate.
I could never play up there. I could never make it in New York.
Upstate.
And you just saw so much concrete of people leaving their home, walking down the street, and then going onto the asphalt of a basketball, or people hitting the ball up against the wall. And you just be like, where are the squirrels? You literally got to go to goddamn.
The rats ate them in New York. The rats are eating each other. I think, and I have to. No, it's true though. They are eating each other.
Yeah.
And I have to say that one of the things I do admire about you, Finesse, is that you really are a Southern boy. You could tell you were raised right. Even when you have a heckler, you shut them up with such finesse.
Yes.
Is that your real name?
No, my real name is Alfred. I was named after Alfred, the Great, the guy who forged Europe. And then my middle name is Langston. I was named after Langston Hughes. So oddly enough, I used to do a joke on names. One of my biggest jokes on Comic View was saying ghetto names, like, you was teacher and you call and roll. And you're like, all right, class, settle down. Listen for your name. Escalade. No, that's Escalade. Settle down. Vaseline. Nope, that's Vaseline.
Vaseline.
This say gonorrhea. That's Janoria. No, the hell it ain't.
Janoria. Janoria.
What's your daughter's names?
My daughter's names are Elle and Eva.
Oh my God, I love
Elle
Eva.
and Eva, yeah.
My daughter's name is Aviva after my grandmother.
Yes. I call them Raisin Hell. No, I'm just kidding.
Raisin.
Deliver us from Eva. No, light of my life. But the reason I brought up when you asked me, I did the name joke is just because it actually gave me something. If it's not a family name, it actually gave me something to grow into as a kid when I was like Langston Hughes. Once I learned about Langston Hughes, that was it. I was like, ooh, I want to be a writer. Ooh,
right.
Writing transition to, I might as well say the stuff I'm writing out loud. I could have easily been one of them. If Def Poetry Jam came out before Def Comedy Jam,
please.
You know how many people would have been Def Poets walking around here?
Walking around.
We would have thought that was the shit.
That's it.
But because you know how many comedians tried comedy because of Def Comedy Jam? So Def Comedy Jam comes out first, and then, Alfred goes to Finesse. Next thing I know, I'm telling my mama, and she like, oh shit, he going, and he good.
Go get that Alexis.
And we gonna laugh ourselves back too.
You gonna get that Alexis.
It all comes full circle. But
and what shows on Disney? Forgive me, because they all got excited when you were coming. So it's really nice to see that. Everybody gets excited for him, but not me. But go ahead.
When I moved out here from Miami, I lost my job at SNL. I'm in Miami. I'm soaking a little bit. And my 2-year stay of just let me regroup, because I went to school in Miami. Let me regroup before I head back. That turned into 6 years. 6 years in Miami thinking that the industry will come to me. And
before COVID.
And after a while, I was like, I gotta get my ass out to L.A. And I go out to L.A. and then You know, one day you wake up and you like, they cut out the lights. I was like, fuck, I gotta get my ass to LA. So I got out here, and Ant Farm on Disney Channel was my first audition. And when I booked it, it only made me think, I wasted 6 years. You know how you can't even be happy. You can't. It's almost like playing blackjack in a casino. If you win, and this is how you hook gamblers. You want them to win. Because if you win, there's no way you're not playing again. You're in the moment. And every time you win, you think you lost because you always think, what? I should have bet more money.
Yep.
So that's how they hook you. And so basically, next thing I know, I'm like, I auditioned for the damn Disney Channel show. I did not want it. I did not see myself as that in my career at that time. I'm like, I'm in my prime. Why am I trying to be a Disney dad? And then, no, for real. I was literally like, I'm too young for this. I want to be Denzel. I want to be. You figure who you want to be out, and you. Next thing I'm on, I book it. And so, the great thing about it is that I forgot because as kids, they have a long season. So once you added up the dough from like a 26 season show, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with these kids for a little bit. I'm gonna just, see what's going on with this, And and China McClain, Sunda, is so talented. She's a little girl she's not a little girl, she's a grown woman. But Tyler Perry, Meet the Browns.
She sings too, right?
Yeah, she sings, the McClain sisters. So I literally watched her grow up. And I'll never forget this. And it was so embarrassing because, sometimes you can't take people out the hood.
Can't. Well, you better put them back.
Our first table read at the Disney Channel show, I don't know the kids. I've seen her, but it's a bunch of kids at the table. I don't know. You see a couple of adults. Elise Neal, beautiful Elise Neal, played my wife. So I did see her, and she wasn't in that first episode. So I'm literally there with just a bunch of kids at the table, and China's at the head of the table. And I'm thinking to myself, I made a mistake. The only thing you can think about once you book a job is, I should have booked a better job. So you overlooking your blessing, and you just sitting there in the moment like, this is crazy. And now you're waiting to read your lines, and you read your lines. In China, you start listening to the kids, and you're like, hey, you start laughing. You're like, wait a minute, it's pretty good. And then China got to a point where she had to sing, and she just basically stood up, and she started singing, and you know how your face just goes like, and then she said, ta-da! And she sat back down, and I was like, we gonna be rich! You ain't supposed to say shit like that at a table read with a whole bunch of parents and kids. But I was like, I know I probably peaked all the levels. But you literally like, we gonna be on TV forever. This is the most talented girl I've ever seen in my life.
China's done.
And then next thing I know, I did 3 seasons of that. But it was a blessing because I didn't let my ego get in the way. I stayed humble, and I read and I wrote it out for as long as I could. And then I met somebody in the game who we both know and love, and is a really good person. I met Bob Saget at the Laugh Factory, good friend, and I kind of told Bob my story, and he said, Finesse, let me tell you why it was the best decision of your life. I said, okay, why? He said, those kids that are 13 to 15 to 16, 5 years, they're going to be buying comedy tickets. And when they see your picture, they're going to say, I grew up on that guy. And you have an instant fan base for the rest of your life. I am Full House for the rest of my life. But that's on stage, and it just never ends. People are like, I will never forget Uncle Joey. I will never forget what was their names? Uncle Jesse. And so I was just like, okay, cool, man. And sure enough, it's cool to like do a show and then have somebody come up to you and be like, hey, I remember you from Disney Channel. How's China? I don't know. She rich. She don't call me no more. She blew up just like I thought she would. We ain't spoken years.
Well, I certainly hope that we see a lot more of you doing. Do you have anything planned for yourself, like a one-person show to tell anything?
So right now I have a dope podcast, and it's called Understand This. And I'm glad that I was able to get back to it during COVID because we were rolling right along before COVID hit. Just like dope, this building, this is great. And then thank you, sir. And then I ended up just booking some stuff. It was just something when I tell you it was like the best beginning of 2020 I had in my career. I booked a TV show on Fox called Outmatched. And it was a sitcom, and it was something that was going straight. It wasn't even a pilot. I booked the role, and it was like, yeah, we start shooting next week. You're like, what? We've been greenlit? I was like, yeah, it was like 13 episodes. I'm like, what? And so it just, my career needed that. Wells Fargo said I needed that. It was all bunch of people said, hey. and it came along, and then I did a Super Bowl commercial. And then next thing I know, I was just like, okay. And then with me falsifying these PPP loans, I am No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
We're kidding.
Let me talk to you about.
So yeah, man.
Well, listen, who knows? If I can ever get Andre to get Finesse into the studio, maybe we will hear the real Finesse because I did promise Andre that he has a great voice. And
Listen, no. Listen, I tell you what. I tell you what, Andre. I tell you what. Because this is how God maybe has a purpose, and I always pay stuff forward. There's a young man named Bobby DeBarge Jr., and his dad was in a group called Switch.
Yeah, I know Bobby DeBarge.
So Bobby he has a voice that I believe is incredible. He does not have the mentor that he needs because his father passed away.
Right.
So he's just basically like, oh, yeah, I'm dope. I'm like, yeah, but you need to do X, Y, and Z. Why? And I'm like, hold on, my phone ringing about my career. But yeah, I'll connect you too because even if you just need somebody doing hooks, he's a dope writer. And I just like people haven't found you yet, bro. I mean, they know you exist and they know your family. They don't know that you sit on that you can do it. And sometimes you just find needles in haystacks. We're like, damn, and you got a name.
Right,
like,
and DeBarge, DeBarge.
Yeah, so it's like,
and I know his cousin too, Christinia too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're gonna put this.
He's
all
one
together.
of those dudes, Dre, that watches somebody like doing it. He's like, yeah, so we can do it. You're like, yeah. Do it. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. All right. So now he's on fire. So it's just.
You're gonna be singing. I don't know. I feel
that
we're gonna sing something. We're gonna see you sing something.
Working part time in a 5 and.
He's got more of a talking.
He ain't no singer. Yes, he is.
I'm not a singer.
His voice, he has more of a.
What kind of voice is it? It's so
he
comforting.
Has a very comforting voice. I think that's his strong suit. I don't think he's a singer.
I'm not a singer.
He's not a singer.
Well,
singing isn't just a good voice. The singing is connection of the voice too.
Wait till you see him perform. You'll see what I mean. He connects to the audience.
Yeah, and that's good too. But that does not mean he's a singer.
It does not mean he's a singer.
Yeah, I perform.
Dope.
Yeah, I sing. See, that's why I'm saying I'm a singer.
He has a singing voice.
Yeah, I'm a singer.
As soon as he said hello, I was like,
you knew it.
Damn it.
I know.
This singing ass motherfucker. I already know he can sing. He got the singing teeth. He got the singing voice. He got the singing beard. This nigga's
like you are R&B, sir. I am Mr. R&B is next to me.
And it's ironic that the song he wrote is the one I come out to.
I know, yeah. She told me she came out to one of the songs that I wrote for another artist.
That's you?
Yep.
Yeah. I already knew. I was feeling greatness oozing into me. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing about producers, though. You get to know the person. I guess I should say that's one thing about just making connections with people. Mm-hmm. Before you make the connection with their work, I love making connection with people. Before you make connection with their work. Because then you feel like, oh, that felt kind of vibey and authentic. And it was, because now you're like, oh, shit, you did that? you did that song?
That's why I like you. I'm tired of that song, me coming out on that song.
Before we started the podcast, I'm like, how COVID treating you? He like, I'm chilling. I'm rolling.
I'm all right. I'm all right. No, because everybody's always like, oh, and I'm like, that's not me.
Right. No.
Not me. Yeah.
That's why Andre and I get along, because it's not going to be us.
No. And even if there's a hustler spirit that will allow you to make a lot of money no matter what the field is.
Absolutely.
So even I can tell these people on this other side of this camera probably 16. So no. But I'm saying, like, the young people who are in this room getting it, you're going to be working for them, or they're going to have a company in like 6 or 7 years where it's like rolling. All you got to do is stay with it. You find out what your passion is and the shit you would do for free, and then you just do that shit and grind and keep your ears open for the next opportunity and the next plug, and you keep plugging and keep plugging, and then you have your company, and then you're saying the same thing to young people who are getting the coffee and the donuts, or just not even doing that no more. I don't even think getting coffee and donuts is, that was a real job back in the day.
It was a real job.
And now
Real
you
job.
hire those same people to do graphics.
Yeah.
You hire those same
Yeah,
You
people
understand?
sure do. He's
to
right.
shoot videos.
You're right.
They have gotten rid of
is
the PA
right.
and swapped out the kids for smarter, more
Absolutely.
hustle. We about to get it.
We about to
kids.
get it.
I was just saying that. I said, look, I was struggling so much 2 years ago, like taking my music from analog to digital, because I have a lot of songs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm over here and I'm watching people. I'm like, damn, she got money and he got, my songs are bigger. How y'all got more money than me? And they were like, because you're not putting your songs, making your songs go digital. I'm like, how'd I do that? And they're like, yeah, you got to go get, and I had to start this whole process. And that's what I learned is like, yeah, you talk to these kids, you have two choices.
Mm-hmm.
You can either sit there and be mad because ain't nothing happening, or go get you some little young kid who know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you can do. And that's, once you get that and and you start working it, it's going to be rough, but they'll get you together. They'll tell you like, no, don't do that. Just add that, keep your phone, right there. Put that, you forgot the hashtag. Nope, don't do that. That's going to go, it's not the right, you need all of that stuff. All that. And once you get in the flow of it, it kind of becomes second nature for you too. So.
And that's why I admire you too, Andre. You do keep up on your social media, but you don't have Satan and Lucifer at home, so you got it pretty good.
Yeah. But I have people working on my social media for me as well too.
Right.
So it's not, and then the thing with my social media, it's not just for me. It's like I use it to like influence people as well too. So a lot of it works by itself. Like sometimes I could just post something that, like today is Thursday, so if I post like a cool throwback Thursday, people be like, oh, and then I don't have to do nothing else.
Because let me tell you something, it's a lot of work when you can't see.
Yeah.
But where is your okay, so the name of the podcast again?
The name of the podcast is called Understand This.
Okay.
And me and my man Jeannie D's, my producer / like right hand. The dude is dope. They always say surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. He's definitely smarter than me. So I always hang around knowledge. And then he's just super talented. He's a guy that can do all of this and get in front of the mic and just make it look like Star Wars. So when you find those people, you bless, you keep them in your orbit, and it's so genuine with us that I'm like, I'm so glad we get along, because it's very important to work with people you get along with and that you want to like get money with.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people making deals with people. They don't like them people.
Right.
So it's business. And sometimes when you show up at work, it's business. So instead of the authentic warmness of a room, you get,
Yeah.
You walk in, hey, you're like, oh, this going to be this.
That's what today's going to be.
Yeah, and so it's good to work with family, and he's family. Understand This, the podcast. You can go to understandthispodcast.com, and it's on all platforms. And then I started impersonating Trump. I started calling him Black 45. So I put on a wig, and it's just me in a suit and a wig, and I do Trump. Everybody knows. I just do. Camilla, Kakiki, calamine lotion, whatever he is. Camilla, Kalua. Everybody, perfect. It's perfect.
No, it's a beautiful.
I said it perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect.
While we wait for a beautiful vaccine, his words are just, we're not even going to go there, but you know where to
Everybody
find
say it. Everybody say it. Everybody say it. I think I do Trevor Noah doing Donald Trump.
Yes.
I think that's what I do.
Yes. Yeah, Noah Trump. Trevor Trump.
Oh my God. I have to say, this is one of the more fun times I've had, and I'm sorry you had to see me change in the middle of everything, but that's how it is. There's no business
amazing,
like
Sunda.
this. But thank you.
Please let everybody know that you don't have to let anybody know. But I will say this. There's only certain people you get back to right away. You call. You're like, wait a minute, I missed your call. What are you talking about? And before she asked me I was like, yeah, when, where? And I think as comics, we do need our culture, we need to do that more, where it's like, you're not looking at anybody's followers. You're not looking at how this may advance something. You have literally been sitting at diners for 5 years straight waiting for a show or something to hit. So you know these people. So when they call you and be like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? Let me. Man, I'm so. No, you ain't. It's COVID. Nobody doing shit. Are you coming or not? Are you coming or not?
Thank you.
You know, so.
I so appreciate it, and I appreciate you being in person, considering you have kids and you understand that we have a hospital setting here. But guys, we have to stay safe. Yes. And Andre, we can find you on
Andre_Merritt.
Yes, Andre_Merritt.
That's on IG and Twitter. I just keep them all the same, so I don't have to. I can be lazy.
That's what he can be, because he's Andre Merritt. And I'm Sunda Croonquist. And this talk show has been On the Go, and we're on the go. I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you, Finesse, and thank you, Andre.
Finesse.
Shit.